Good morning, everybody. Now, it isn't deja vu. This is not me coming on even more times. Welcome, everybody. Sorry, we had a few technical glitches there. Just at a time, Ben, where we were talking about how it's
that
wonderful.
Two-way sync quality.
Now, what we've probably unwittingly and brilliantly made the point there, Ben, is this shit isn't easy, is it?
No.
You've gone full Dalek on me. So can we just go back right to the beginning again and talking about, look, you and I have been banging on about this really important point about the two-way synchronization. Famously, web companies have been very, very talk about the letterbox, the sender and the receiver. You guys have received data incredibly well from the CRM companies, published that in wonderful ways, but things are changing rapidly now, aren't they? Do you want to just elaborate on how you see it developing?
Yeah, so in essence, websites other than that property feed have been disconnected from their CRMs, and you've really never had the opportunity to pass data back from the website to the CRM. So, we set out with Lewis and Carl Alsop of Alsop and Alsop, who are extremely progressive brothers based out in Dubai. And it was like, let's take this to the next level. Let's create like a platform that's got some intelligence in it that actually can really benefit their customers, but also benefit the business by actually starting to get to know one another. There's a lot of idle, browsing around websites and loads of traffic, but you don't know who they are. So they took the view that if you want to engage with the website in any which way, then you've got to log in. You've got to create an account. So simply, you can create an account through your Gmail or your Facebook, or you can create your direct Alsop and Alsop. And then immediately once you've done that, it doesn't matter what sort of inquiry you're wanting to make thereafter, book a viewing, book a valuation, contact an agent. You don't have to keep entering your information over and over again. So that immediately means you can start talking to people on a sort of first name terms, hi, Simon, great to see you. How can we help? All that kind of stuff that you would expect to do.
And learn their behaviors, of course, learn what they like as well, isn't it, over time?
Well, exactly. Because then once you get into the, situation where, in a simple form, people are saving searches and saving properties that they're interested in, and rather than that sitting in the website My Account and being a bit invisible, it actually gets passed back to the CRM and added to that applicant record. Obviously, the fun kicks in, when you start doing sort of meaningful transactions from an estate agent point of view, i.e., you are now wanting to book a calendar appointment, you're wanting to book a valuation. And then suddenly we're now getting into the realms that I absolutely love, which is this whole calendar booking stuff, which seems like a no-brainer after our 7 months of lockdown and Calendly and Zooms and all those good fun things. But the time saved by having a customer be able to pick a time that suits them directly in a calendar, pulling straight from the negotiator, whoever's assigned to that property's calendar, I think, has proven to be a massive breakthrough. It also means that you can go into the My Account. You can actually see, I've got a calendar appointment on this day. And not just the buyer or the tenant, but the vendor and the landlord too. So actually having that information, having that transparency, just sort of backs up the neg who's going to be calling it through. But if you want to know where your single source of truth is, it's in your My Account. So that's really critical. And I think the other sort of kind of breakthrough, in essence, is another thing you and I have discussed on a few occasions, is this whole, how do you turn a sort of website, a responsive website, into more of a web app experience? And really the bit that's missing is the native notifications that you get through. We almost take it for granted. So actually giving people the ability to connect their WhatsApp or agree to receive text, it seems like a no-brainer, but 99% of, agents' websites out there are just literally hanging their hat on email. I think we all know that emails just don't get read.
Email struggling by its definition, because obviously it did have pride of place. You got the email, that was the golden ticket. But just because everyone's doing it now, you've got such a struggle to be noticed in the inbox.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas when we get WhatsApps and texts, we're all, we've got the red dot syndrome where, you can't leave them, can you? You got to open them. And also they typically come over your lock screen. You can be on a call like this and suddenly it's like, oh, what was that? Or your watch buzzes. So I think that there's going to be a massive movement. I know that there's Stitch.ai and Twilio and numerous different companies out there starting to do it. We're obviously trying to integrate as much as possible. So we've got a whole raft of, I think we've got a dozen different projects at the moment that are working with the likes of Repit Paz, now that they've owned that up, which is really exciting. There's some other action going on with like Salesforce as well. And then of course there's the new kids on the block, Streets of this world and Agent OS and Desres. I watched Richard the other day. It's great. Finally, we're not doing dumb websites and dumb CRMs, which I outspokenly said on many occasions, just hoping that these guys would get it together.
Yeah, and finally they got their arse into gear, haven't they? And it's they only had to get rid of me from the industry to make that happen. So that's nice to see. I'll tell you what, we've got to whisper it quietly, but the people that have, obviously nobody wants to talk about this has been a good time for them during a pandemic because it's not being particularly sensitive to obviously the horror show that's going out there. But from a business perspective, digital marketeers and website companies could not have envisaged what 2020 would have done for them in terms of hard coding the importance of their of what they do. And if it was true, and I don't look, if you were talking about things like, the dashboards and the ability to log in and everything else there, you would have been talking to a very engaged, but it would have still been a percentage of the audience, of the public, whether that's 50%, 70%, that, they're used to online banking and everything else. And they use this in a couple of different places. But you wouldn't have been talking about the vast majority of it in the way that obviously they have had to get used to that. So even your Silver Surfer demographic now is absolutely at home with this kind of, and actually is demanding it themselves. That's the critical point, isn't it?
Exactly, and they're almost taking it for granted. My mum's juggling sort of whether she gets her Ocado deliveries, and she's all over it. There's more food pouring through the door every day, and it's all done from the phone. It's literally done from the armchair. So that's why we've been feeling, and there's a second part to it really, from a sort of a business perspective, is when you're running the digital marketing, as you say, which has become seriously punchy, and lead generation is not just a sort of buzzword, it is happening hard. The only problem that we always had in the past was attribution. So we got to there was a valuation filled in, or there was a book of viewing form filled in. And then you hit the brick wall and you never knew whether it actually did get booked. And then you never knew whether it actually ended up being an instruction. And you never knew whether they actually ended up selling it, or indeed, how many days did it take? What percentage of leads convert to an instruction and what percentage of instructions come? And suddenly you can actually put a number to it. So it's a mathematical thing.
I tell you what, that's absolutely spot on. And obviously it happened in the print world in marketing, hadn't it? It was very, very difficult to derive true ROI because measuring it was obviously much, much harder. And to a degree, that's why people jumped on digital marketing, which was with such gusto, because the measurables were so much easier. But even then, as you've highlighted, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't the whole journey there. And actually now what we're getting towards is literally nirvana, isn't it, in that respect, that there are very few hidden what ifs and maybes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the bit that we're really excited by, because then it's properly joined up thinking. And of course we're moving into the realms of other third party prop tech doing some fun stuff. And then so suddenly you don't have to just be satisfied with the lot you get within your CRM. You can actually start peeling off to different email software, different, anti-money laundering software or whatever it is, and just put it into your workflows. And from our point of view, because it's all API first sort of thinking, we just build that into the workflows. So now, do I dare share screen after my shenanigans of a start? I could just quickly give it a go, if you want. Or have you frozen now? Who's that freezing? Do I share screen, he says, and Simon's frozen, I think. Or is it me? Dear, what a day. What a day. Let me see. I think it's Simon on this occasion. So if I am still connected and we are still live, which we are, I could even try and share screen while Simon's in full sort of am I bothered looking mode on screen. Let me see if I can do this while even he's not there. Let me see if I can pick an application window. And I'll do this. Let me see how I go. Are we still live? If anyone's out there, tell me whether we're still live.
Today.
We are having a laugh, aren't we? That was you this time.
We're having lots of fun today with gremlins all over. As again, this is normally the time, Ben, where I like to say thank you, Virgin Media, for your continued assistance in providing me with the ropiest Wi-Fi in history. Anyway, Ben.
Well, listen, I'm sharing screen. I think you can see it. Yeah. So this is typically this is what the sort of this is actually not a live version because Allsop and Allsop are getting slightly tired of me booking spoof meetings and all the rest of it. But this just gives you an idea. So you come into the app as such. You've logged in through your social logins. You can see how many viewings you got booked and offers placed and feedback and a bit of marketing stats on here. You can go into your persona. So the whole concept here, what we did was we merged buyer tenant and then seller landlord. Some people like to keep them separate.
Oh, okay.
And actually now we're not even making you have to pick. We're just saying you are one person. You could be all four. So we're sort of consolidating all your feedback and just breaking out by the type that you are. But in this instance, if I start off with the buyer tenant thing, I can go in. I can see, this property here, I've got a viewing booked. Yeah. I can see what it is. I can request a change in here. I can look at, so these are my up and coming. All of these would come, not only would I get an email, but I'd get a WhatsApp. I can see that I've completed after 30 minutes or so, or geo-targeted. When you leave the premises of a viewing, you get a WhatsApp saying, hey, I hope you enjoyed your viewing. Would you like to leave some feedback? The link in your WhatsApp takes you straight into your My Account to the page. You click on your feedback. And then what it does is it brings in you can have set feedback in Repeat, for example. Too big, too small, too expensive, all the rest of it. And then, of course, you can have the free text one where you might go, it's a shithole or whatever. Now, obviously...
That's absolutely vital, isn't it? Because on the face of it, you need those standard drop downs there for reporting purposes to be able to do it. But then to have the free form text box there to, as you said, let us be honest about it. And not sometimes as well, some people don't always choose to make that visible to the, maybe back to the vendor.
We definitely don't. That goes back into the Repeat, but it does not get shared with the vendor, the landlord. Whereas the other stuff, if someone leaves a feedback at 10 o'clock at night, it will go directly to the vendor or the landlord. And as Lewis Allsop said, the amount of times without the negotiator having to try and negotiate the price down because really it's too expensive. It's nothing like hearing it directly from the person that did the viewing. Too expensive. So that's sort of one of the things that you can do, and you can leave feedback in here. And then you can make an offer. So once you've left feedback, you can click and make an offer. You fill in your offer.
Yeah.
You submit your offer and off it goes. In this case, that's just a screen saying it's confirmed, but it's saying it will say your offer has been shared, and you can go back to your dashboard or wherever you want to go. So that sort of gives you a little idea of that side of things. You can set up alerts as well. So you've got all your saved searches and your saved properties. You can create an alert. It's all chunky buttons and really simple. And of course, when you've created an alert, anything that actually comes onto the market that matches your criteria, bam, comes the WhatsApp notification straight into the property. So you hear it in a timely manner. And then, of course, if you want to call your negotiator, it's, video call them, WhatsApp them, phone them, email them straight out of the phone, which is, pretty cool. And then if you want to switch over to the seller landlord, they can see what viewings are coming up. They can request a change and say, I can't do that time. They can check out the feedback and see what's going on. They can look at their, they can contact their broker or whatever they want to do. They can see the offers coming in. They can reject offers, accept offers. Bam. The moment they accept that offer, now that can either be done over the phone between the neg and the vendor, landlord, and then that would update automatically, or they can actually say, well, you can just hit the button and off you go. So we adapt the workflows depending. Some businesses say when it comes to that bit, we want to be doing the talking, but at least when they update Repeat, it automatically updates the app. So you always know where you are. And that's really, I think that's great. So what else can we do here? So you can go into the properties, you can check details on the property. You can see all your different properties and drill into them, see what's going on, and this is all the property tracker part of it. Then there was another fun bit that we did, which was this whole, you'll like this, which is the sort of Deliveroo, Uber Eats of this is your neg on the way to the appointment, whether it's a viewing, you get your WhatsApps, and I just think that why wouldn't you do that? Why do I have to stand out in the cold wondering when this blooming negotiator's coming? Why can't I see him coming?
I don't think you got to worry about standing out in the cold in Dubai, but I get your point.
So I mean, that's probably enough on the screen share, but just gives you a taste of what's going on. And I think that this concept of connecting the CRM, having the two-way sync, really is a must. I can't see people being able to last long. From our point of view, we always knew that, the progressive customers of ours would go this route, and that's why there's a dozen already signed up, ready to go. And actually, what we are doing, which I said to you, you will be the first to show this off when it's ready, is we're actually focusing on creating this sort of enterprise My Account, that we're looking to do a kind of SaaS model around it, which will connect with certain, of the more edgy progressive CRMs that we can actually give or license to agents, even if we don't build their website. So before it was always like, you've got to be in control of the website to do it. But actually what we've realized now is really, we just want to be in control of the transaction and make it really seamless. So, I think it's definitely exciting times ahead, and I'll keep you posted as we progress.
Oh, I love it, Ben. I mean, I'm a sucker. It's fantastic. What you're doing there is bringing towards loads of what is now expected standard functionality that, as you said there. Look, if it's a service delivery of any type, of course you're going to want to know when they're coming and everything else. There's whole security reassurance there about it as well, and that's lovely. But bringing that into our little world of a state agency again, and really equalizing those benefits, because I mentioned this a number of shows. People aren't judging you per se just against your competitor. They're judging you against every every other business that's on the high street, or indeed in your digital world there, and they will leave themselves feeling deflated if they don't have that same customer experience if they're online anyway. So
exactly,
you've got to get to the game. Look, when does the pace of development ever slow down? I mean, it doesn't, does it?
The reality is it's just having to speed up. I mean, you know better than anyone, you just can't get enough developers on board at the moment.
No.
And the reality is it's not just spending money, it's actually helping create intelligence, create automation, and it saves incredible time in the long run. There's a bit of investment that you have to put in up front, but without a doubt, it actually facilitates this home working, this remote working, and just being more on the pulse, really. And I think that's what we've got to be doing. So
absolutely right. I love you as usual. Obviously, and I have to say, look, obviously you guys do our website, so I couldn't be more biased if I tried, basically. But actually, looking at it objectively, as usual, Starberry recognised for their UI, and again challenging the kind of the theory there. Lots of kit companies and CRMs in particular, they've done the right thing. They've gone down the route what Josh Fegan would talk about, the four-dimensional client, and they do link together records, like an applicant record with a vendor record, if they, with a landlord record, but they are still very, very different screens and part of the system there. What you've done bringing that together is how it works in the real world. You don't see four separate people, do you?
no.
You've got a single entity sat in front of you who has a number of different roles. So
and the customer doesn't want to know about all that complication in the background. No. That's my feeling. They want to log in once, and you might have 7 pieces of software connected behind the scenes, but they don't want to know about it. They just want a seamless experience, and you want to be able to just quietly follow them around, which gives you a lot more meat on the bone when you make that phone call, which I know agents love to do, which they need to do. So I mean,
also, as I said before many times, fantastic. You only have to go to their offices in Dubai, don't you? First of all, it's like the Wolf of Wall Street, isn't it? Without all the behaviour, basically.
It is full on.
Floor, in one of those magical towers that they have there, overlooking the Burj and all these other wonderful landmarks. And then you go into this thing, and then the thing that sets you off a little bit there is there in the lobby is a framed Coventry City.
I know. That's pretty punchy, isn't it?
I didn't know whether I was being trolled or not. Like Mickey Quinn. A big Mickey Quinn fan or something, but we need to have a chat with those guys as well, don't we? With you, but that's a webinar for the future. I think those guys are at the cutting edge, and it's an interesting story anyway with Dubai, isn't it? So
it really is,
Whenever you're ready with those guys, let them know, and let's have another chat about what they're trying to achieve.
That would be nice.
Well, and we'll just finish off. I mean, I think, Ben, again, congratulations on the top 40, top 10 in the 2X category. For me, you more than anything, I never have original ideas. I just nick people's really, really well. And yours was from day dot, when I'm talking about 5-10 years ago, we spoke about, I think I christened it the Holy Trinity, though, to be fair. You've got your CRM system, you've got your website. You can throw in an EDM system, an electronic direct mail there. That, if you like, is the holy trinity of the foundation, if I'm not mixing my analogies, of a successful estate agent. Now, you have had a flow of information between those for many years, but often it was just one to another in a daisy chain, and actually often, again, just one way. What's amazing, and agents might not see the importance of this, but it's groundbreaking, is that's now not a line, it's now a circle, and that offers opportunities there in terms of cross-referral, management information reporting, the ability to truly digitally market yourself. That is truly liberating again, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And as everyone's realizing, this crazy patch of spiraling leads coming in, you've got to prioritize. So if you've got some data on people, rather than them all being just sort of lumped into an email that really isn't telling you the story, it does allow you to prioritize. and you know who's really committed and who isn't.
Well, in our rather truncated set of interviews this morning, we now, as I said, Emmeline told me, you keep this to 10 minutes, Whaley, don't you waffle. There was never any chance we were...
Nah. Oh, brilliant. And he's even in the close, we're getting a broken connection. So, for everyone who's still listening, we are true professionals normally. Simon never does this other than when he's with me, because I jinxed this call. But it's been an absolute pleasure for anyone who's hung in there long enough to listen to us both. And if we can be of any help to you guys, we're here ready to create awesomeness and deliver results, hopefully slightly more seamlessly than today's call.
To Simon Wells, and as if on time, Jez Lee, who was lucky enough to have had a stable connection yesterday. Ben, carry on, Whaley again, OC. Look, Ben, I think we're being given a firm message here from the gods.
Off the stage. Do we drop the mic yet?
Yeah. Well, look, fantastic. What I was just going to say there, though, was you seem to be alluding that you're going to be getting towards almost like a lead scoring capability down the line. That ability to use of that data to actually give useful information back again. That's a really exciting area we're heading towards, isn't it?
It is. That is firmly what we're up to, yeah. So
perfect.
Thanks, mate. It's been fun as always.
Absolutely.
Love you too. See you later, man.